Good morning. Actually, it's not morning, it's evening. Good evening. I looked up all of a sudden and saw 7 o'clock, and usually I'm much more aware than that. So it's like, oh, it's 7 already. Um, First of all, I want to thank you for joining us for mental mind treatments. I also want to say that today, the first one I'm going to be doing is I received an email through my website earlier, and this lady who I'm going to do a mental mind treatment for sent me an email. But I'm just going to repeat some of this. And I don't have a card ready tonight. I'm sort of a little bamboozled, I guess. Anyway, she says, first, I'd like to tell you that I love your YouTube channel. And that just made my day, that did for sure. And I learned so much from it and the items of knowledge that you share with your viewers. Why I'm saying this is because today I also received an email saying that I should write more and not put all my views on my YouTube channel. I felt like saying, you are aware I have written 8 between books and booklets. I've got 8 books out there. You've been to my website because you obviously emailed it through there as well. So it was like, interesting. But anyway, Leslie, I'm going to do the treatment for you. I promised I would do it first, and it will be. And she kindly put in the 3 numbers. So she'd obviously watched and saw that you needed 3 numbers. And we do have that, and I'll address that. And I have a couple more. I welcome everybody else who's going to come on the show. And because that's what I guess it is. It's my Monday night mental mind treatment. So I feel I don't get usually left behind where I'm not watching the time, but my mind went somewhere else. So I don't know how late I was. I couldn't be really that late, but anyhow, perfectionist I am not. And anybody who knows me know that is so true. I am not a perfectionist. I do my best. Let's put it that way. So when it comes to Leslie's request was regarding a brother, but she did not give me the brother's name, but she did give me the 3 numbers. And they are 15, 2, and 12. I want to make a comment a little bit about the numbers before I start the treatment, is that when you are emotionally upset, involved with another or with another element, what tends to happen is that we get that emotion that we lose our sense of being able to be rational. So we are reacting. If we do not feel like where we need to be, then also that makes a sense. So what we've got here, first of all, with the number 15 is a lot of emotion. So and then the need to make a decision of what to do about that. When another person in your life upsets you, they know the trigger points. They know what to say. And for whatever reason, they obviously like doing that. They may say they're not aware because they'll act absolutely like they don't know anything about it. But the thing is, we are responsible for ourselves. We are responsible for how we respond. And so therefore our decisions are important. And often a lot of us in an acceptance of a person, we might want that person to change, but the reality is we can only change. We can change how we respond. And by that usually means, as you have with the number 12 here, the acceptance of where they're at. So when we try to change another person, we usually don't always succeed at all. But and I shouldn't say it is one of those nights, I really don't need to say try, because try usually means you don't really do it. So the key here will be for you to be aware. So I'm going to do the treatment. We'll see what comes up. We know there's a lot of emotionality around this. We know there's a choice, and we know there's acceptance. So we've got choice, acceptance, and this emotionality to actually work with. So let me just move into treatment. I know there is one power, and I know there is one essence, and I know that we all are connected to that power if we so choose. I speak my word for Leslie, and as I'm speaking my word for Leslie, I am, it's like an offering tonight. I'm offering this prayer, this treatment for her and her brother. No, I have no name. I know that the decisions that I make in assuming their power over, their control over, their desire over me because I respond. This is about unhooking the emotional ties that have been weaved for a long, long time, because when we're relatives, that's what can happen. And it's about looking at where those cords come from one person to another, and to look inside yourself to, first of all, unhook them and give them back, so that there is no way they can have you react or reply or feel all that emotion that goes on. It's like becoming an independent person, like an independent building, in a way, is what I see. Someone strong, standing tall and strong, roots going way down into the earth. And no matter what is said or what emotions are thrown at you, or because a person who has very often like that, they have all the keys, they know exactly which buttons to push, and of course they succeed, and then we get all upset, and they usually have a smile usually, or they react back, and then there's no resolution. So the key is to disengage, to unhook, to let go. And what I always found when I was looking at where I allowed people to hook into me was to unhook them, not cut them. An old way of doing it was saying cut cords. I've never have believed that, because that means ends are running out there to be rewound. Is unhooking the whole thing and filling the space up with love and light. And then what that does is make you stronger. So I know that as I speak my word for Leslie, there is an element of strength that is occurring. There is an element of being able to be more grounded in the earth and allowing the sense of power, personal power, to begin to grow on up through the sense of the self as it moves forward in an ever knowing and ever believing and an ever awareness of the acceptance of self. In the acceptance of self comes a feeling of recognizing there is a power, there is this love force, there is an element of being supported, but you need to let go of the fear and the anger and the frustration, and breathe that out and put it back where it belongs, and allow yourself to be filled. And I'm going to use the term the grace of God. It's like the grace of the universal love force. It's like that calmness, that knowingness that you are loved for you, and there's no need to react. And when you do react, you accept and you forgive yourself for that, and recognize what was it that triggered me, because those are the elements that need to be looked at. What is the trigger? And what we see here is that these are all emotional triggers, that you're very emotional. So it's a very emotional subject, that there's a lack of awareness as to how, what, when, and where that you can actually do that or work with that. So I give thanks in knowing that Leslie is finding inner strength, that Leslie is coming into a place where she is aware of being part of herself in all things, so that things can pass by her without her reacting, without her being and feeling that there is a sense of knowing and a sense of being. I give thanks in the knowing that this is a beginning of a new perception of awareness, a new growth, a new element of strength, purpose, awareness, to be able to stand solid and let energies, words, whatever else is coming your way, pass you by. That you do not react, that you stand strong and an awareness that you are loved by the love source. You are loved, whether you call it God or whatever, no matter. That force that is there loves you, cares about you, wants to support you, but you need to invite it in to give you strength so that you can make different decisions as to how you react, because you accept that's who he is, and this is who you are, and you're loved, and you are going to be strong. I give thanks in the knowing for Leslie, and I trust that she will email again or come on the show and put her input in, knowing there is love and light for her, and that she can have a relationship or not, but she can have a relationship with herself where she feels strong and in command. And I give thanks for this, knowing this, as we release this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Okay, I'm just going to have a drink of water here, but Kayla came on and says blessings, and she had emailed me with some suggestions. One for her, which was energy, clarity, and focus for the path forward. She had didn't have any numbers today, but I created some. So 14, 12, and 8. So I'm just going to start to treat. I know there is one power, and I know that we're all connected to that power. And by allowing that power into ourselves, into our inner core, into our hearts, that we realign in a very different way than maybe we have been realigned. In the realignment, by accepting the love force and knowing that we are loved beyond measure, there is energy and there is clarity, and the focus comes because the path is shown. It's not about trying to figure it out. It's about watching it to emerge. It emerges from the soup, you might say, the soup of life. And it's like as it moves, you just move with it and allow it slowly and surely to take place, to consolidate. And it's the acceptance of that through power of achievement and knowing that you are connected, that you do have energy when the time is right. Sometimes we don't have energy right there, but it's just a time of renewal. And in the renewal comes clarity and focus and for the path forward. I give thanks in knowing that Kayla's path is representing itself slow and sure, but that it is there for her to move forward with ease and with grace. I give thanks for this, knowing that it is true and is all done. While I'm with Kayla, I'm just going to say treatment for her son, Jason, who returned from his trip to the Orient, I'll say the Orient, with a chest and head cold. I know there is one power, and I know that chest and head colds usually come from mental confusion or uncertainty or even fear. I also know that in the balancing and looking after himself through loving himself and accepting that this is just temporary, that this chest and head cold shall move out easily. There is a sense of letting go, a need of letting go of the tension, letting go of the worry, letting go of the concerns that have gone on within his life in the last years, 2, maybe 3 years, and allowing kind of the body to rest. I feel like the body needs just to let go and rest. Do whether it needs to be sleeping or whether it needs to have some physical exercise, but it just needs to rest. It doesn't need any of this other pressure that has gone on. And that's why the head and the chest, the breathing in and out, and the head, because it's been so busy trying to figure everything out. I give thanks in knowing that the congestion that has created this is released and let go as Jason just moves into relaxing and allowing life to be all that it needs to be. And I give thanks for that. Kayla also asked for her daughter-in-law, Diamond, and I actually, she made a note, and I just wrote down acceptance and perseverance. And so when it comes to Diamond, I know as I speak my word for Diamond that acceptance and perseverance of the situation is only thing that can be done. And by accepting, by persevering with the goal in mind, with ease and with grace, that everything will be completed and assured. This is important for her to be relaxed and to allow the unfoldment of the future slowly and surely so that everything can be brought into accord. There is one power, one essence, and by having this acceptance and the perseverance of what needs to be done and doing what needs to be done with ease, with love, with understanding, and having faith that she will be where she needs to be, I give thanks in knowing that this is what all will be well. And so it is. Amen. Maggie G. Okay. Hang on. Let me just read. My numbers for tonight, 4, 15, and 16. No question, just numbers. Well, that numbers give me a lot of info, you know that. So Maggie, 4. I'm gonna address 4 because 15 is emotional, and 16 it's like there's a fear here. Okay, 4 is a kind of a stubbornness in a way. when we look and we're not sure. Well, the first thing when I looked at that, I got stubborn. Then I looked at the 15 and I thought, yes, more stubborn. And then 16, there's a fear of, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? What's going to be placed next? An interesting thing is that very often we have fears that run deep that we're not always aware of. It's like they're subtle and they kind of they remind me of crocodiles in the waters down in, you don't really see them and then they're there. It's like we have these deep subliminal deep subliminal fear factors that we think that we've cleared often. And then very often they kind of spring back. And they spring back often because we have cleared them, but we didn't get the root. What is the root? And sometimes the root can be that we don't really want to let something go. We'll hold on to it. We'll hold on to what that is and how that represents. And I just want to say here, I know that you said there's nothing really that you want. I just feel here is that I can't remember if you swim or you go into a pool and swim, but that was kind of how I feel like I wanted to do. I wanted to go into a pool and let the water swim over for a few laps anyway, and let the water wash away an old pattern of I can't have it, or I'm not allowed to have something about not allowed to have it, or I can't have it. And so there is a sense of change happening, but we're not sure that we can have what we really want. And that's an old pattern. This is an old pattern for you. I want to go back to when you're about 12 years old, which I know is quite a while ago, as my 12-year-old is. And so it's like recognizing that the pattern can be exonerated. Like it doesn't have to fulfill itself. The pattern is familiar. It is known. So let's do a treatment around that. I know there is one power and there is one essence in all of us, and therefore I speak my word for Maggie G in knowing that whatever old programming that I run at different times that get triggered by certain circumstances in my life, that I am willing and to let go of them, to release them, to see them evaporated into absolute dust, that they have no bearing on my life at this time. I free myself from shackles. I free myself from, it's like irons on my arms and my feet. And this could be a past life when you've been shackled up. I'm not sure, but it's showing me that. So I want to know that at this time, as we let these go, that there's freedom of movement, freedom of thought, freedom of feeling. The growth patterning that you go through at this time. Excuse my throat. I have to more water here. Sometimes these emotions come up and they grab my throat for some reason. But anyway, what we want here is for you to let go of an old subliminal program that has emerged from time to time in your life. I believe the first time might have been around 12, and that you can let it go. I really do see a swimming pool and swimming and just allowing the water to wash away. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Not everyone wants to do that, but it feels that it's like a cleansing, that the water, even though it's outside the skin, is running through the body and cleaning out the old patterns. I know that the loving force is with you, that you need to invite it in to take the fear, to take the uncertainty, to take the rigidity that happens when we become fearful and how we fall back on old habits. I know that love will diffuse. And in a surrendering, and I smile because I used to dislike that whole term about surrendering. And so I found it so important. The surrendering into the light of love and allowing the love to embrace all situations so everything can change. I give thanks in knowing that Maggie G is on the cusp of a great change on the inner part of her. And I say, as I release this, And so it is. Amen. Okay. So Karen, my dear, what do we got here? Happy April Fool's Day. Yes. 2, 12, 19. Okay. 2 is coming up a little bit. Many things I have been praying for you to think. Yeah, no, I've had my ups and downs, but I'm feeling, some days I feel really great. And I got a nice big nap today, and I came out and was able to get for those of you that are on subscribe to my newsletter, you should have that in your mailbox because I just sent it off just a little while ago. Not too much in it, but I do there's a couple of things there that may be interesting. Okay, Miss Karen, this is choice time. I really don't think too much always when I'm doing this about what is happening out there in the big cosmos of the sky, because there's so much fear factor at the moment going on out there. There's so many people in the know, we'll say, who are foretelling all this, that, or the other. And what I'm seeing here in this moment is that your ability to see through and beyond a lot of that is incredibly important for you right now, so that you can accept where you want to be, because you're still in an emergence phase. You're still emerging into newness, into greatness, into I'm going to use the word persevering again, into it's like a persevering element of rebirth and the completion of a rebirth. And you're so close. But you know what happens very often when we get close to a goal is that we begin to doubt it. We begin to question it. And it's like we begin to pull back. If one was riding a horse, they would tighten up the reins a little bit and pull back. A lot of this is accepting that this is your path. This is where you're going. This is what you're doing and how you're working for essence of where you're heading and where you're going. So I just want to really reaffirm in knowing that there is one power, there is one essence, you're connected to that essence, and that you just choose to stay on your path, that you choose to accept that sometimes it's a little rocky, sometimes there seems to be offsprings, and do you take those? I just want to say no, keep on trucking. You've made the big journey. You've made the big step. Don't trip on the little one. Don't trip on the little step, because it is a little step. Gee, my table's rocking. I'm getting so excited. So as you move forward, I just want to pat you on the back and say, hey, accept, know that you've already made your choice, know that you're committed to your path, and just keep on with the path and keep on in the direction that you're heading and going, because all is well. You are exactly where you need to be. And I know that you will succeed because you're almost there. I can taste it. And then everything will fall into place. I give thanks for knowing this for Karen as she moves forward. And all is well. And so it is. Amen. Hi, Karen Lee. I nearly emailed you this week, actually. I was hoping you might put something in for your mum again. But anyway, let's see. I would love a treatment for patience. Oh, I love that. Yeah, patience. And your numbers are 17, 12, and 3. Look at another couple of 12s coming up. Acceptance. One of the and I know I've spoken to this before, is that one of the hardest things for us is to accept what is. Until we accept what is, we don't change anything. So it's kind of interesting here. So let me see your numbers for 17. That shows you've got the understanding. Oh, it's almost what I've just sort of said in a way for Karen. Now I'm talking to Karen Lee, is that little step, tiny little step that you got to make. But let's look at patience here, and as I'll weave it together. I know, excuse my voice. I really don't like this when this happens on these, because I don't have it all day and I sit down and there it is. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know as I speak my word for Karen Lee, that the knowledge base and the awareness is there, and the acceptance of the loving of the self, to know that love is inside, that the love vibration is there for you to move forward in the direction that you want to move forward to. You are at one with all things. There is a beautiful balance of awareness, and it's just acceptance of that. Sometimes we're a little crabby. Sometimes we don't feel so great. Sometimes we whatever. But by accepting it totally, what ends up happening is that it moves forward, it moves out, and it moves beyond. And in that acceptance of self comes love, because we love ourselves for who we are. There's a whole, sometimes I find in spiritual growth that this idea of the perfect person. That's not what it's about. It's about knowing you're loved, and the feelings that you have are yours, and they have something to say to you, and that they, even if they become emotions, which is to me is feelings that are stuffed, and they become emotions. But it's like knowing that is that you can move forward. So it's the acceptance of what you know, and knowing that it has validity, knowing it has truth, knowing that it is governed by and worked with the love vibration, that's where it is all there. And that's what it brings all together. I give thanks in knowing that, Karen, relax, trust your knowledge, trust you know what you know, and mostly trust you're a loving being. And that if you get impatient, it's because things aren't moving as fast as you would like them to, or going in the direction that you would like them to. It's just being at one with all there is. So I give thanks in the knowing of this for Karen Lee as she moves forward with strength, purpose, and awareness. As I release this thought, I knowing it is done and is true by saying, and so it is. Amen. Whew. Okay. I don't know quite how to say that's the next name, but I'll try. Vanico, because it's Spanish, and I don't know Spanish. De Silva, I know. Okamov, I don't know that either. But it says hello. I say hello back. Welcome. Thank you for being on the show today. Appreciate it. And I hope it brings some awareness. And then Kayla says, right on with your insights. Thank you for your loving and caring thoughts and prayers. And Maggie G says, thank you. Norma, we'll go to the hot springs this week. Oh, that sounds so nice. You are so very bang on. Hugs. And Kara Maruka says, thank you. That is so reassuring. Hey, well, I need another question. Or, oh, well, you guess what? It's almost our half hour, which seems to be what we do. Karen Lee, I hope this is okay. I'm going to do another treatment for your mother, because that was a very powerful one last week for me, and for saying it and listening to it, re-listening to it. And I just feel we needed something to follow it up. So if that's okay, this is what I'm going to do. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know that we're all connected to that power and essence, even if we ignore it, even if it's not wanted to be accepted, that it is there. The love force is everywhere. And if we allow it inside, we feel the benefits of that. I know as I speak my word for Karen Lee's mother, Margaret, that the love that is being locked away with fear and anxiety is being already opened. I can see a shaft of golden light that is coming in and melting away the fear. And in melting away the fear, there is just becoming more and more solidity in how she can accept life physically or in transition. How that is being at one with all things, that there is only one power and one essence, that it's there for all. And that's there for her. I feel that she needs to know that it's okay to reach out for the light. Now, we call it the light, but that love force, that sense of comfort. And to her, it may be comfort. It could be a color, it could be a person. It's the need to know it's okay to reach out for that. It doesn't make her incorrect. It doesn't make her wrong. It doesn't make her less than, because of her need to have comfort at this time. To know that you're wrapped in a beautiful blanket of love that supports you in what you've done in your life. It helps forgive that. whatever you hold on in your mind, it helps to breathe through and to move forward, so that you are able to move into these different phases of letting go of the physical and moving into the non-physical world of love, acceptance, and being. I give thanks in knowing that Karen Lee's mum is finding comfort. I give thanks in knowing that the comfort brings peace of mind. I give thanks in knowing the peace of mind adds to the relaxation of the body and the mind and the soul, and that there is a great transition that is happening bit by bit by bit as she moves forward into the love force, into the light, and into the awareness that she is loved over all things, that she is loved. And she can accept that love into her heart, into the essence of her, as she makes whatever transition is going to occur or to happen. I give thanks by saying, just by saying and knowing that love is real. And we release this thought knowing that it's true. And so it is. So it is. So it is. Well, it looks like the half. It's funny how we started off at about 50 minutes a time, and now we're down pretty well, usually to around half an hour. And I really feel good about that. I want to thank you. If you're not on my newsletter list and you would like to be, you can go to my website, normacowie.com, and sign up, and I'll make sure that you get on. Or you want to email like Leslie did, then you can email me through there too. Unfortunately, I only do the psychic element on Monday nights. I know some people want to come on Wednesday or even Sunday morning sometimes. But I just don't do it. It's like everything has its slot. And if you start murking the waters, what begins to happen is that you lose the clarity of what each one began. Each one of my 3 shows has an emphasis. Tonight is about a prayer method that I found works really, really well. And some of you have really enjoyed me having to do those for you. And I like that. And I want to maintain that. And the number thing helps me clarify whatever the situation is. My Wednesday talks are that. They're a talk. And yes, I don't mind if you write a comment in the comments and I can look at them, but I'm not there to answer the psychic questions. Philosophical questions, yes, I can answer those. In fact, you can always email me with a list of them, no problem, what you would like me to talk about, because there's 52 weeks a year, so 52 shows. And then, of course, Sunday Thought is just really taking something that has caught my attention over the week, and I make it into about a 10-minute talk on how you can look at that in relation to your life. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your support, your subscriptions. Thank you for the likes, 5 little thumbs up. Thank you. And I just know I appreciate you. You're well appreciated. You're loved. And thank you. And bye now.